Gentlemen, the championship is back for a brand new season and it is kicking off this evening. Before we kick off today's video, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on my notification bell so you'll be notified every time I make a new video. Doesn't it feel good to be back for a brand new season? The summer break wasn't as bad this year because obviously we have the World Cup to still have some football to watch, which hasn't been too bad, but obviously it's always good to be returning to what we know and love, which is of course the championship. So yeah, new season and I cannot wait to get stuck in. Obviously first game week's always very hard to predict because you've not got a lot to go on apart from one Carabao Cup round obviously we have had this year, which has worked out a little bit differently, but I'm not going to try and look into the Carabao Cup results too much because I don't think they make too much of a difference. And anyway, I hope they don't, as a Bristol City fan, where obviously we lost to Walsall the other week. So I hope that won't affect anything. But anyway, without further ado, let's crack into the video. And we start at Molineux tonight for Wolves versus Blackburn. Obviously, Wolves back to the Championship after quite a few years in the Premier League, where they've had a bit of a roller coaster, really. Obviously, was in Europe for a little bit. Even though that wasn't obviously very long lasting. And it kind of feels since then they've kind of been flirting with relegation. But last season it kind of just all piled up, and obviously then they finished bottom of the league. But I think this is now an opportunity for Wolves to rebuild again and then obviously try and get back to the Premier League, first time of asking at the end of this season. And I think starting the season at home, firstly, is a positive, and then starting it at home to a team like Blackburn right now, I think is another positive thing. So I think everything's currently heading towards a Wolves victory. I know I said I wasn't going to look too much into Carabao Cup results the other week, but obviously Wolves were able to get past Port Vale relatively easily as well, which I think is another thing that's going into their direction. Blackburn obviously left it late to get past Burton in the end, even though that was obviously a good comeback result from them. And I saw Blackburn picked up Sam Morsy on a free as well this week after he obviously left my side Bristol City towards the end of last season, which I think will be a positive signing for them. I don't know what his current fitness will be like, obviously having missed most of pre-season. But I'm not sure whether he will be playing. But yeah, I think in this one I will predict Wolves for a 3-0 victory. I know Tony Mowbray Blackburn sides have previously started seasons very, very well. But I'm not feeling confident with this. I'm not feeling confident with Blackburn right now, and I think Wolves are looking the real deal currently. So I'm going to go 3-0 Wolves. Next up, and to the first derby of the season, we head to Lancashire for Bolton versus Preston. Now, obviously, the other weekend, Bolton lost 1-0 away at Sheffield Wednesday, and Preston got past Huddersfield on penalties. This one, I don't think there's going to be a lot to split these two sides here. I don't think there's going to be too much in it. I think it's with home advantage. I might slightly push towards Bolton in my thinking, but I do think Preston will give Bolton a good test, which is then maybe knocking me slightly towards a draw. Preston today announced as well the sign of Leo Leroy from Basel as well, which I'm very intrigued by for how that will go. Where he's played in the Champions League as well before, which I'm sure Preston fans are very excited about. And I don't know, obviously, whether he'll be able to play tomorrow yet, or whether he's been signed too late to be ready to get into the side. But that's a very positive signing for Preston in what has been a bit of a difficult kind of summer, I think, so far. Apart from obviously the signing of Alfie Devine, it's all been a bit difficult with Ben Whiteman going and all the other bits that have been going on. So in this one, I think I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I don't think there's going to be a lot to split these sides. Next up to Ashton Gate for Bristol City versus Millwall. Now, Millwall the other week, they won on penalties in the end, or away at QPR in the Carabao Cup. Lucas Jensen saved all his penalties as well, which I'm sure is a massive confidence boost to him, especially after literally being injured the whole of last season, which I'm sure was a real pain to him. So I think for him coming back and having a good game like that straight away for him is a really positive one. And yeah, I think Millwall are going to be very, very strong this season. Obviously they got third place last season, which was a really, really good achievement for the club. I don't quite think they'll be able to get third place this year, just because I think there's been another step up in the quality in the league. But I still think they'll be good for playoffs this season. And they're going up against my side, Bristol City, who are obviously going to. Well, it feels like we're going to be having a very much a transitional season now with all the changes that have gone on at the club. I won't run through them all because it's pretty well documented now. But there's been all these changes going on at the club, and things are going to take time. We've got a manager who's never managed in this league before. We've got literally a whole different squad. And yeah, this sort of thing is going to take a lot of time. So I'm not expecting things to be smooth at all the whole season. There will be rocky patches, and it wouldn't surprise me if we don't win this match. But at the same time, I still think we'll be able to bounce back from what was a very poor result against Walsall, albeit I don't think we were shocking. We just couldn't take any of our chances. But that seems to be most of the case with quite a few City matches. But anyway, I'm going to go for another 1-1 draw here. I don't think there's going to be a lot to split both sides. Next up, and to the Valley for Charlton up against Derby. Now, two sides going up here who were near the bottom of the table last season for possession stats last season. So it'd be quite interesting to see them both going up against each other in this game and seeing how this works out. Obviously, Derby last week faced Lincoln, where they lost at home. Even though obviously they had a pretty normal squad out and whatever. But yet again, I'm not reading into the cup too much. And I think Derby are going to be good in this game. Even though they are going up against a team like Charlton, who I think could cause some problems like Lincoln caused Derby last week. And it's making me potentially want to give Charlton something in this match just by that logic. But I feel Derby might have learnt their lessons from last week, and maybe even last season when they struggled against some more of the lower possession sides. So I'm going to go and back Derby though still, and we'll see if that ends up coming true. Even though I said all I've just said will probably end up coming true, apart from obviously what I'm giving as my prediction. But I'm gonna go for 2-1 Derby. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if all I said about them playing low possession sides and them not being able to win ends up coming off here. But I'm going to back them to have sorted their troubles out with that and win that match. Next up, and to the Riverside for Middlesbrough up against Lincoln, and what a season this could be for Middlesbrough. It's got so much potential, and I bet Middlesbrough fans have been waiting now for this moment to get going with the season, to see what they can do. And as I said, I think I could see them having a very, very fun season, put it that way. Obviously, things started off well for them the other week when they played Wrexham. Will Lancashire obviously getting off to a scoring start, which was very positive for him. So that was good for them. And I think for Lincoln the other week, going to Derby and winning is a massive confidence boost, obviously before the main season kicks off. However, I'm sure when they were looking at the fixture list at the start of the season, I'm not sure this is necessarily how they wanted to start the season. But at the same time, I wouldn't rule Lincoln out getting anything here. It's one of these games right at the start of the season, so you never know what could happen. But I don't think I'm going to be betting against Middlesbrough a lot this season. And I'm really scared to bet against them for this game because I feel like they'll get the job done here. Obviously they've got Vitek coming in as well, who will be coming in, I'm sure, as their number one in this match. I doubt they're going to be sticking with Sol Bryn now for much longer. Now they've got Vitek, which will make a huge difference to what is already a pretty good defensive unit. And I fancy another Will Lancashire goal, I think, this week. But I'm going to go for 1-0 Middlesbrough. I don't think Middlesbrough are going to walk away with it, but I think they will get the job done still. Next up, and to Carrow Road for Norwich up against West Brom. Now, both sides had identical scores the other week in the Carabao Cup. Norwich beating MK Dons 4-1, and West Brom going away to Rotherham and winning 4-1. So two goalmouth action games for both sides starting the season there, which is obviously positive for two teams that will want to do better than they did in certain parts of last season. Obviously for both sides, it was mainly the first half of the season which was very difficult. And then by the second half of the season, both sides were a lot better off. Obviously West Brom under James Morrison and Norwich under Philippe Clement. And obviously Norwich were in a better position come the end of the season and could have ended up in the playoffs. Whilst West Brom were more in that relegation fight. But obviously they ended up staying up, and I think both sides will do better than they did last season. But with Norwich being the home team here, I still think Norwich are a few steps ahead of West Brom currently, and I think at home especially, Carrow Road is going to be a very tough place to go to this season, and I'm favouring them here to get a 2-0 home win. I think Norwich are going to be very strong in this match. Next up, to Portsmouth versus QPR, two sides that lost in the Carabao Cup the other week. Portsmouth losing 3-1 away at West Ham, and QPR, obviously, as we spoke about earlier, losing to Millwall on penalties. And things are looking pretty exciting at QPR. I feel like we say this most seasons about QPR. They've normally signed a couple of good players in the window, and suddenly we think that their fortunes might turn around to being stuck in the Championship. Obviously the news this week was signing Dennis Serkin, who's obviously come in on a free from Sunderland on the expiry of his contract. And I look at that and think, what a crazy signing that is. Somebody who I'd have loved Bristol City to be looking at, just for the fact that he's just such a quality player at this level. Obviously it does come with the caveat that he is quite injury prone. But you could also say that about Lamptey, who QPR have also signed as well. They have signed some injury-prone players here. So it could come with massive upsides if they manage to keep them fit for the large majority of the season. And also it could come with downsides if they go and get injured early on. I think going to Portsmouth is, I say it literally, you probably heard me say it on this channel a lot of times, but going to Fratton Park is no mean feat. It's very, very difficult. I think Portsmouth, they've had a bit of an odd summer, haven't they, really? Obviously thinking John Messina would be off right at the start. And then obviously he ended up staying around. So Portsmouth are a very interesting team this season to see how they continue on. And I think in this match, first game of the season again, what do we do? I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 Portsmouth victory. I think the Fratton Park crowd could help them out here to get off to a winning start, but I definitely wouldn't rule QPR out. Next up to the EFL Gw1 derby, which is of course Stoke versus Swansea, with all that saga going on at the start of the season, when Stoke ended up paying around, I think it was about 10 million in the end for Gw1. So they definitely forked out a hefty sum to get him in. Yet again another window where Stoke are trying to fool us all by trying to make us put them up higher in the table than they seem to end up finishing most seasons. But yeah, they've stuck by Mark Robins, which I think is a positive move for them. And I think it could end up paying dividends in the end. But they are going up against a Swansea side who have currently still got Vipotnik under their books, even though Vipotnik looks like he could be off literally, well, whenever. I think Hull have been linked to him as well now, so we're interested to see whether Hull make a move for him. But currently, whilst he's there, I still think that will definitely help out Swansea. And yeah, Swansea lost 1-0 to Birmingham at home last week in the cup, and Stoke beat Oldham at home. So yeah, this one's an interesting fixture. I don't think there's a lot to split both sides right now. Tempted to favour Stoke maybe with home advantage. But I'm going to go for a few goals in this game, and I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Next up, we go to Bramall Lane for Sheffield United versus Birmingham. Now, both sides obviously started off with a win in the Carabao Cup last week. Sheffield United beating Mansfield and Birmingham beating Swansea. So 2 positive results for them to start off the season. Obviously, at the time of recording, Birmingham have just announced the signing of Max Bird from my side, Bristol City, which pains me. But at the end of the day, with him being out of contract next year, we kind of needed to let him go if we wanted to make some money back. And Birmingham have got a good player there if they can keep him fit, and that is a big if because he's spent a lot of time injured. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they can keep him fit and utilise him. But yeah, it's a weird one really. Obviously, Sheffield United had such a rocky season last year and were in the end able to finish mid-table, a few places down from where Birmingham finished. Who also endured a rocky spell really under Chris Davies, and it wouldn't surprise me if Chris Davies loses his job early on into the season. They have got a very tough fixture list, so they'll be wanting to pick up points, early on to get some on the board, before they face some really difficult fixtures. Not that any game's easy in the Championship. So in this one, I'm finding this one as well very hard to call. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I don't want to really split these sides first game week. If I had to predict a winner, maybe I might go Sheffield United, especially with Birmingham's dodgy away form last year. But I'm going to go down the middle and go for a 1-1 draw. Next up, to Vicarage Road for Watford versus Southampton. And Watford left it very, very late against Crawley last week in the Carabao Cup, until the 99th minute, where Bowler stepped up and scored to send them through to round 2 of the Carabao Cup. And then for for Southampton, they also managed to get the job done against Colchester, where a couple of late-ish goals sealed the deal in that match. So yeah, both sides start off with a win. In terms of how I think the season will be going for both teams, I think it's going to be very different. I think Southampton will be fighting right near the sharp end of the table, and I think Watford could be having a very, very difficult season this year. And I think Southampton will be beaming with confidence for this match. They put Spygate behind them now. Anyway, not technically with this investigation that's still going on for Eckert, but with the players that have committed their future to the club, I think that's been a very positive thing for them now. Especially someone like Peretz coming in permanently is a very, very impressive permanent signing. And yeah, I think they're going to be up for this one. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Southampton away win there. Next up, and to what was obviously an all Premier League tie last season, we have got Burnley up against West Ham. Obviously, Burnley left it to penalties to beat Notts County the other week after drawing in normal time. And then for West Ham, they obviously got past Portsmouth even after going 1-0 down. And I think for Burnley, this whole pre-season experience has just been a very, very difficult one. Obviously, it took them absolutely ages to get everything sorted with management, and they've not particularly been that busy so far in the transfer window, which has just kind of been a tough situation. But obviously things now look roughly sorted, apart from this current news of Virtue no longer being their principal partner, which was put out as a statement earlier today, which kind of all feels like a lot of chaos has been going on, going on just before the season. So everything feels like it's working against them currently. But I'm sure they'll be able to pull together. And for West Ham, yeah, I think they're going to be they're going to have a lot of fun this season in the Championship. And going up against Burnley right now with the current position Burnley are in, I think they'll definitely be favouring. And yeah, as I said, obviously they did well last week as well. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Southampton away win, which would definitely kick their season off very well. And finally, to Monday night and to a Welsh derby, we have got Cardiff up against Wrexham. Now, straight away, I'm really struggling to split these two sides. Cardiff obviously just coming up from League One, and Wrexham now having a season where they've not left the league, which is a very weird occurrence for them, I'm sure, as they've got so used to getting promoted every season. And I think this will stand them in good stead, kind of having a season now where they've been able to just settle, and they'll have a good go, I'm sure, this season at trying to win promotion to the Premier League. But yeah, they're going up against a Cardiff side who I think will still be carrying relative momentum from League One, confidence and whatever. So I think that will stand Cardiff in good stead. Obviously, a disappointing result for Wrexham in the Carabao Cup, losing to, albeit a very strong Middlesbrough side. And Cardiff obviously had quite a fun game up against Swindon, where they were able to win 3-2, with Jack Moylan getting a goal on debut, which I'm sure is a very positive thing for them, with obviously them wanting to get the best out of him throughout the season. So yeah, I think there's a lot to split these two sides. However, I'm kind of feeling like I'm going to back Cardiff in this match. And so I'm going to go for a 2-1 Cardiff win. But there we go, that is the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Be sure to put your score predictions in the comments below. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Hopefully there'll be plenty of Championship content coming your way this season. And yeah, I'd love for you to be involved and support our community. And yeah, let's just enjoy the Championship being back. I cannot wait for Wolves versus Blackburn tonight. And yeah, watch a lot of football this weekend. So anyway, without further ado, I'll see you all in the next one.